Hello and welcome once again to another spoiler movie review here at World of Stew. Now, for a change, I'm going to start this one with a question for you, my wonderful viewers, and that is, who in the hell is going to the cinema and watching shite Transformers films? Go on, who? I don't get it. 2007, a decade ago, the first Transformers film hit cinemas. And since then, Michael Bay has brought us three more. We'll get to the fourth extra one in a minute, the fifth film. Revenge of the Fallen, Age of Extinction, and Robots in Disguise. I have no idea what the last one was called, or what the other one was called. Now, the thing about these movies is that I've watched them, but I couldn't actually tell you what in the hell any of them are about. There's big robots having battles, smashing the shit out of everything. Half the time I have no idea who's an Autobot and who's a Decepticon. It was a lot goddamn easier to tell in the cartoons. And do you remember those cool toys you used to get where you could like rub the chest and a little badge would show up? Now they do have badges in these films, but they're so hidden away and insignificant that you just wouldn't know which one's which, and they're not different colours and blah blah blah. So there's been four films to date, and Optimus Prime flew off at the end of the last one because apparently he can now fly, which I didn't know he could do at all whatsoever. Which brings us to the new film, the fifth film in the series, and apparently Michael Bay's final entry in the franchise, although not the final Transformers film, because there is talk of up to another 9 movies. I don't know how they're going to drag it out for 9 movies. There's going to be a Bumblebee movie. Maybe there'll be a Megatron does porn movie. Megatron does Dallas with Starscream. Although Starscream is apparently dead because his head shows up in this movie. So what is The Last Night about? Well, the clue's kind of in the title. It starts off in medieval times, the days of Merlin, who apparently is just a drunkard who happens to know where a transformer lives, and he goes to him and he gets a magic staff which helps him aid King Arthur in winning the battle. And we also learn that the round table not only has King Arthur's knights, but it has the knights of the Transformers sort of around it. They're sort of like these Guardian Knight type Transformers, which is going to be important later on in the movie. Other than that, I'm not really sure what the actual plot of the movie is. There's a lot of stuff about medieval times and how long Transformers have been on the planet. It mentions the Witwickies, which of course was Sam Witwicky with Shia LaBeouf in the first 2 or maybe 3 films, and how they go back in history and they're really important to the Transformers history and blah blah blah. And there's like 2 different government agencies in this film. One run or being headed by Josh Duhamel or whatever his name is, from the last couple of Transformers movies, and the other being a Transformers Hunt group. Not really sure who's doing what. It's really confusing. There's lots of slow motion. Stop with the slow motion already. Sick of it. What with Wonder Woman and now this is just getting on my tits a little bit, to be quite honest with you. There's lots of Transformers again. The Decepticons are at the beginning of the film. Then they get their asses handed to them by basically the B team of the Autobots minus Optimus Prime, and they disappear until the end of the film, in which they come back, and of course there's obviously going to be a big battle. Now, Optimus Prime, he's gone off into space to try and find his creator, who he comes across, and she basically ties him up, does some mumbo jumbo. She goes, messes with his mind, convinces him, and apparently this is true, that Earth is actually Cybertron, and he needs to transform Earth back into Cybertron to bring back the Transformers race. To do that, obviously, he has to kill everyone on Earth. Mark Wahlberg's in this film again as Cade. I can't even remember what his full name is. Cade McClintock, I'm going to call him, but that's not what his name is. Garrison Cade, something like that. No, Garrison Cade's an old wrestler from the WWE. And there's plenty of times when him and this Megan Fox looking woman are in jeopardy and it looks like they're going to die, but obviously they don't. The hunt for Bumblebee's voice continues. There's a little girl at the start of the film who does some sort of fighting and trying to save Transformers. She then kind of vanishes into the background and you don't really see her again. She pops up a couple of times. Optimus Prime turns up whilst Mark Wahlberg is hunting for the Staff of Merlin, which apparently is going to save Earth because the creator of Optimus Prime is coming to Earth to obviously destroy the planet. Optimus Prime turns up, he kicks the ass of a couple of the knights of the Old Round Table. He then has a battle with Bumblebee, a battle which is stopped when Bumblebee speaks in his own voice, which is really convenient and well timed. Optimus Prime is then getting his ass handed to him by the rest of the knights, and they're about to cut off his head with a massive Transformer-sized sword until Mark Wahlberg has this kind of amulet thing which turns into a little tiny human-sized sword which stops the Transformers sword dead. I kid you not. This makes the human woman aiding the Predator to kill the alien in AVP look like Citizen Kane. This film is so confusing and so bad. It beggars. I don't even really know what to say. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that Anthony Hopkins is in this film. And this is a guy who's been in Beowulf and Alexander. But again, both of those films look like works of art compared to what... I don't know what he's doing in this film. It's like somebody spiked his cup of tea at the beginning of each day of filming with ecstasy. And he's off his tits the entire time. There's also he's got these old Transformers living in a castle with him, and one of them is like a butler. No, I haven't looked this up because, quite frankly, I couldn't be asked. But it's voiced by someone like Ralph Fiennes or someone like that, someone proper English sounding. And he's like belligerent and he swears, and it's just crap. And there's also a scene in this where Grimlock, who was the kick-ass Transformer when I was a kid, and I really loved him. He was obviously Optimus Prime's bitch in the last film, and in this film, towards the beginning, he's basically like a dog, and Mark Wahlberg is telling him to put down this car that he's chewing on, and then there's baby dino bots, and they're learning their power. How in the hell can you have a baby Transformer? They don't fucking grow up, do they? For fuck's sake. And speaking of things that changed, in this film, Bumblebee can apparently break into lots of little bits which can fight on their own, and then those bits reconnect to make Bumblebee whole again. Now, I don't ever remember him being able to do that, but then again, I don't really remember the first 4 films because they're instantly forgettable. Although they did take over $3.5 billion at the box office, which is kind of says a lot about society, really, doesn't it? Let's be honest. I could go on and give this movie a much longer review, but frankly, it's not worth the time. If you love the first 4 Transformers films, you're going to love this, so go and watch it. If you've got any sense at all whatsoever, you're not going to bother because you can save yourself 2.5 hours of your life. In terms of score, I'm going to give this a big fat 0 out of 10, just like I did Ghostbusters, because frankly, it doesn't deserve any more. I'll be back with another movie review soon. I think my next movie up is going to be Tom Cruise's The Mummy, because I am a glutton for punishment. Until next time, keep it geek.